Hey, Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling. I'm kind of catching up with things, as you can probably tell. I've looked at a clip from Rampage Pro Wrestling. I'm going to look at a couple of things from Joe Black that I was sent. And I'm going to look at this right now. This is a promo apparently Ben Buchanan did for ProSouth Wrestling. I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in, and let's see what's going on.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest at this time is the Alabama stud, Ben Buchanan. Now, Ben, you became #1 contender for the YouTube Championship, and when Victor Cortez offered you a sign of respect, you blatantly disrespected him with a cheap shot. Why?
All right. If you're going to have to do exposition, which is what that is, right? He's explaining things that didn't happen right in front of our eyes just now. That's exposition. If you're going to do exposition, you got to keep it short and sweet and to the point. I think Ben's notion of having his back to the camera to start is an interesting one, and it works. It's one of those things that if you do it and it's not good, then it's completely a rule break, right? He's not establishing a connection with us right away. But I think Ben's presence coupled with a really well done little small bit of exposition there, I'm still in it, and now it's up to Ben to keep us here.
You know, before you end up like your announcer buddy, Shane Knowles, before you end up like Brandon Watley, before you end up like Victor Cortez, before you ended up like any Georgia wrestler, I best suggest you hit the Brits, kid. If you know what I mean.
I don't want any trouble.
There you go. I like it. He's not no-selling what Ben has said or trivializing it. He immediately gives up the microphone, puts his hands up in deference, and now all eyes are going to be on Ben.
No trouble.
Victor, you preach about it's not the size of the dog in a fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. I ain't no dog, kid.
Whoa.
Do I look like a German Shepherd? No, I do not. Do I?
The stuff with the blood crusted around the eyes, that's a good reveal. If you're going to have your back to the camera, the reveal has to be a good one, and I think it's a good one. And Ben is right in the camera, standing and delivering.
Do I look like a bloodhound? No, I do not. Do I look like a Yorkie? No, I do not. The only thing relate to me and a dog is whenever it comes up to my ankle and starts biting me, and I'll kick it across the room. Because you see,
What a
the
heel.
Alabama stud Ben Buchanan does whatever he wants. Now you wonder, why did I take this belt from you? Why did I take this belt from you? For 3 years, I busted my ass off around every indie scene, whether it was Alabama, whether it was Georgia, Tennessee,
No.
driving all the way
Look at
down
the
to
video.
Port Richey, Florida for free, to work for free.
Ooh.
I have never once got this belt. I never once got to feel what it's like to hold a belt by myself. And as you can tell by the blood running down my face, on the top of my head, it is running down. You know I'll do whatever it takes. Because now I gotta go on home. I gotta see my mom on Sunday. Before I go to church, she's gotta see me and she'll say, Ben, why are you bleeding like that? Why are you bleeding like the stuffed pig that we have in our backyard? Why are you bleeding, Ben? It's for the belt, Mom. And then my little nieces, they're 5 years old, 6 years old. Heck, the youngest one just turned 1 year old, Victor. You're a family man. You should know how this is like. He just turned 1 year old. So now when he sees my face, when he sees the bruises around my head, he's going to scream. He's going to cry, and I can't get him to stop crying. So Victor, every time my nieces cry, every time my mom cries, every time everybody in my small town of Stud Mountain, Alabama looks at me all weird because I got this around my head, just know it is coming for you. Victor, watch out. Courtesy of the Ben Buchanan.
Ladies and gentlemen, my guest at this time
All
is the
right.
Alabama Stud.
First things I loved. Boy, Ben's really going for it, and he's really putting himself out there, and he's putting emotional resonance on what he's saying. I really like it. It's one of those where I wish there was an editor. Um, Good to great writing and promos are made in the editing room, and it's actually taking out things that don't work. One of the things that don't work for me, I wanted smoother transitions, right? So it's a 5-year-old and it's a 6-year-old, and then even a 1-year-old, and the 1-year-old is a boy, so it's a nephew. See, you don't want us to get derailed thinking about those kind of details. You want to make sure that stuff is smoothly delivered so you can get to the emotional part, which is, I got to go home. I love the name of the town that he gives. I got to go home and everyone's got to see me beat up, and it's got to be for something, and it has to be for something. That's why I took this title. And I love the moment where he's looking at the title and saying, this. It's the first time I've ever won something on my own. Again, it's one of those where if Ben had to do it again, he would cut about 15 seconds out of this thing. It would tighten it up, and then it would just move from point to point to point to point to point. Yeah. You want the setup. Ben, you did all these terrible things. Ben acknowledges the terrible things that he's done. He says why that he's done them. And then he's got to say how, then he has the whole part in the third act of, I have to go home and look like this. And if I'm going to do that, it's not going to be for nothing. And Victor, I'm coming for you and I'm going to have this thing. Because I assume the story is Ben stole this thing, that it's not really his. So if what we're setting up is a match wherein Ben will actually acquire that title by defeating Victor, then that needs to be made clear. Beyond that, I really like it. I really like that Ben puts himself out there. And I'm going to go ahead and get this thing up.